When the Pixelbook Go was first announced, I was not too enthused about this particular laptop, and that's kind of strange for me because I'm a big fan of made by Google laptops, dating back from the Chromebook Pixel to the Pixelbook to even last year's Pixel Slate. And I couldn't really express right off the bat in the unboxing video why I wasn't feeling the same type of enthusiasm I did for previous made by Google Chromebooks. So first thing we're going to talk about is appearance, because that does play a part in my feelings for this particular laptop. When you first open up that box, and you can watch my unboxing video on this, but when you open that box lid and you see that laptop for the first time, in previous made by Google laptops, there was just something about it. It may not be the most elegant design out there, it may not be the most unique or premium feeling design, but there's something about it. It just feels special. I did not get that for this. I really didn't. And part of it is because of this new redesign using this magnesium alloy body, this unibody that's just like this matte finish. Some people may love it, other people may hate it, but I personally thought Google had a really nice, lineup going. Starting with the whole Google Chromebook Pixel line with the light bar, I thought that was unique. There's two things about the Pixel Chromebook line that I always loved, and that was the aspect ratio first off, that boxy 3:2 aspect ratio, and the light bar. I always thought the light bar just made this laptop stand out. They got rid of it with the Pixelbook, and I was very disappointed with that. But there was still this kind of like two-tone effect on the Pixelbook, the glass window, which a lot of people didn't like. I personally adored that design. When I pulled that Pixelbook out that first time, it was love at first sight. I loved the look of that laptop. There was nothing out there even today that made me feel just like that. And when I open this app, it's just a black slate. It's just a piece of magnesium alloy. There's nothing that you see just straight off the bat and think, oh wow, it's a Google Pixelbook. You don't have that anymore. That's what you feel here. There's not much. If it wasn't for that G on the back, on that very top, you would have no idea who made this, what this is. And to some users, they might like this type of thing. I know matte black everything is popular nowadays, but for me, I personally felt like Google had something going with its design language for laptops, and they completely abandoned it, completely restarted with this laptop. And that leads me to the next thing, the aspect ratio of the display. So in previous Chromebooks, we've had that square aspect ratio, 3:2. Google even made comments about why they thought that was a better use for the future of laptops. And I wholeheartedly agreed. And that was one of those things that I absolutely loved about 3:2 aspect ratio Chromebooks that people were starting to make. Even Samsung with the Chromebook Plus and the Chromebook Pro had that aspect ratio, and now Google kind of flipped it back to the 16:9 aspect ratio of yesteryear, and that alone kind of makes me a little deterred. So my model here is a 13.3-inch 1080p panel, good for 166 ppi. So the ppi count is a little low, but that's because there's a different version. There's a higher end version that's a 4K display, but that's at the highest end configuration. So you can't mix and match. You can't say I want this processor with this screen panel. It has to be combined. It's not a la carte. Now in terms of what this display actually offers you, it's not too bad. The colors are actually pretty true tone. I like the replication of the colors here, and the image is pretty sharp. 166 doesn't sound too good on paper, especially since I did have the Pixelbook in the past, and I love that display. Now I know what you're gonna say. Hey Alex, what are you talking about? The Chromebook Pixel and the Pixelbook were way higher starting prices than this laptop here. And you're right, this is the cheapest Pixelbook ever to hit the market at $650 starting price. But competitors in this price point in 2019 do have Chromebooks with 4K displays in this price range. So it's not like that's out of the realm. I do understand the Pixelbooks have never offered the best value in terms of Chromebooks. You look at other brands for that. But, it is a little disappointing this wasn't at least a Quad HD display, so there is merit behind that argument. Now, other than those two things that I brought up about Google's design choice for this laptop, I really have nothing else to complain about. I really like this laptop. There are still things that I scratch my head and wonder why Google decided to do what they did. But overall, this is a great experience, and I'm going to jump into it right now about why I think that. Now, audio was where I was pretty surprised with this. The Pixelbook had pretty good audio, but this is even better. It has dual front-facing speakers, or dual front-firing speakers, because they fire upwards on the keyboard, and it gets pleasantly loud. This is actually a very good laptop in terms of its audio quality. Powering this laptop is an 8th gen Core M3 processor with 8GB of RAM and 64GB of storage. No micro SD card support here, so you do have to rely on cloud storage. I do surmise that most people out there buying this will be using it at a similar usage scenario like I do, which is playing Android games. Android games, at least the ones I play, run pretty well on here. I haven't really noticed any difference here compared to some of the older ones. It's improved a lot over the years with the Android support on these laptops. And also, I would say photo editing, some photo edits, you can do that with some of the Android apps out there. And I know Adobe's adding more Android software, so we might see those eventually on these Chromebooks working full time for some people. But yeah, processing power, I do feel like it works pretty well for a majority of people if you're using it as a casual device. Now, one thing I did like about this laptop that is surprising to me, because the other Pixelbooks weren't like this, was the fact that it's only 2.3 pounds. It's relatively light, and this magnesium alloy frame, this body, makes it feel deceptive in terms of its weight. It's one of those things where you just have to hold it, and it's much lighter than it is because of its material and the feel in your hands is deceptive. So I do like the portability. That's why it's called the Pixelbook Go. Now, the ridges on the bottom, this new design, I'm not sure what the heck Google was thinking here. It's supposed to help gripability when you're holding it. I don't really think it does. I think it's an unnecessary design choice that they made here. Most of the time you don't look at the bottom of the laptop anyway, so you don't notice it, but when you do see it, sometimes it feels a little weird. This accordion design. Now, this magnesium alloy, some people, once again, will like this look, but it's a fingerprint magnet. That's undeniable. You can see fingerprints everywhere. That's part of having something like this. Especially with the keyboard too. Like, this keyboard design is relatively nice. I do like this typing experience. I do think they improved it from the Pixelbook. So one of the Pixelbook complaints that I had, and some of the other users made this comment in my review video as well, they messed up the color layout on the Pixelbook. You can't have white lettering with white keys with white backlighting, because you can't see anything. It's when it's backlit, it's all washed out. So they changed that. The black keys with the white lettering and the backlight works terrifically. This is a much better backlit keyboard than on the Pixelbook. So they learned their lesson there. They improved it. Layout otherwise is almost exactly the same as what you would see on all other Chromebooks at this point. We do have all the shortcut buttons, the Google Assistant button. The keyboard lighting gets decently bright. Not the brightest I've seen, but it gets relatively bright. What I do like about this keyboard is the typing experience. So this typing experience is, the keys aren't too shallow, it's not too mushy, there's not too much feedback, it's just enough. It's good enough where you feel like this is a very good typing experience without hindering you, without, you know, like some people hate the MacBook typing experience with the butterfly keys. Google didn't do something crazy out of the box. He just kept it very simple, very fluid. Now, the trackpad on the Pixelbook Go is very responsive. The real estate on it is pretty expansive. You do have relatively good space. You can have 4 fingers on it comfortably, doing swiping motions, whatever you need it to do. You have plenty of space to do it. And in terms of Chromebook standards, it's a very high-end, very high-quality trackpad. But I felt like the Pixelbook had a better trackpad, and that might be just deceptive of me and how my brain is telling me how I should feel, because when I was using that, I did feel like that was the second best trackpad in the planet. Other than that, all we have to talk about left is the battery life. The battery life, they say it's up to 12 hours. Of course, we're not going to get 12 hours if you use it like an actual person will use it, which means actually using the laptop and doing applications on it. I would get probably like 8 to 10 hours. But what it comes down to ultimately is the user experience. And to me, this is a redemption. It is absolutely a redemption. I am back in love with Google Chromebooks, made by Google Chromebooks. The Pixel Slate, really, it's been sitting on my shelf. It's not something I enjoy using. It's not something I find versatile enough for my uses. This hinge doesn't flip all the way. It's not the Pixelbook, but it is also a very good traditional laptop. And that is why I feel like this is worth the $650. Now, I'm not going to jump into the whole debate about how much a Chromebook should be worth. If you've watched enough of my Chromebook reviews, you would know that I am willing to spend a decent amount of money for a good ChromeOS experience. And this is a redemption project. It really is. I like this laptop a lot. It's not the best Chromebook out there. It's not the best Google-made Chromebook that I've ever used. But I do like this a lot, especially from what I've seen last year. And you cannot call me a Google homer because I love the Pixelbook, I love the Chromebook Pixels, and I gave them good reviews, but the Pixel Slate, I didn't like that at all. I absolutely did not like that at all for my usage, and I made plenty of comments about that in my review video of the Pixel Slate. This one I do like a lot, and I will say that as a consumer, paying $650 for it, no regrets about it at all. Just like I had no regrets about paying that premium $1,000 price point for the Pixelbook. I did feel a little bit of remorse buying the Pixel Slate. All right, that wraps it up. If you have any questions or any comments you want me to hear, list it in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think of the Pixelbook Go. I do know you guys have a lot of opinions about premium Chromebooks. I would love to hear it. Let's continue the dialogue, and I'll see you guys very soon.
And that's it. Be sure to subscribe here. Hit the bell button so you don't miss any of our videos, and check out our other videos right here. Until next time,